What is up, heroes? It's Midnight Zero, and welcome back to Let's Play Doki Doki Literature Club Blind. In the last episode, we started off the game, and we were introduced to all the girls of the Literature Club, and we were tasked with going home and writing a poem to share with everyone tomorrow. So, in this episode, we're hopefully going to write our own poem, and we're going to read what everyone else has to say. I'm intrigued because I feel like this will be a bit of expression, a bit of a route to learn about, the personalities, the characters of the other girls. So, let's hop into it. So with that, the two of us depart the club room and make our way home. The whole way my mind wanders back and forth between the four girls, of course it does. Sayuri, Natsuki, Yuri, and of course Monika. They're just helping out with the LP amnesia. I appreciate it, game. Will I really be happy spending every day after school in a literature club? Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. This is a VN, this is a dating sim. Alright. I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. Gotta do your homework. We actually gonna be writing something? It's time to write a poem. Pick words you think your favorite club member will like. Something good might happen with whoever likes your poem the most. Do I even have a favorite club member so far? If I had to guess, it would probably be Yuri or Monika, but I don't know. Whoa. These are not what I anticipated. What do I think my favorite character is gonna like? Look at these words: hurt, suicide, music, promise, misery, vibrant, twirl, meager, bouncy. We're gonna go with promise. Oh, it's a whole nother. And we'll go with passion. And then of course there's some Doki Doki, but fester, family, tears. There's so much sadness just, juxtaposed with these really positive words. We're gonna go with Doki Doki. Rain cloud, fantasy, misfortune, vivid. Oh, I actually like the word vivid a lot. And defeat, we have to choose 20. Defeat, vitality, sticky, broken, pout, memories, massacre, milk, cage, crimson. We're gonna go with vitality. Eternity, papa, summer. Interesting. We're gonna go with calm. Nice calm mind. And as you might expect, shinies. Raindrops, fireworks. Let's go with fireworks. I feel like this is going to be very influential in the events of the game for some reason. Whether it's what character we start to hang out with more, what events happen with that character, etc. But we'll see, right? I don't doubt that. Actually, I like existence more. Infinite. Ooh, and infallible. Those are both words I like. Philosophy, vivacious. We're gonna go with philosophy. Secretive, unrestrained. We're gonna go with secretive. Agonizing, giggle, pain, play. What are these words? We'll go with. I'm not a fan of the word email. Emails have become something very stressful. Heaven sent, aura, lollipop. We're gonna go with lollipop. I'm surprised with how many they're having us choose. Entropy, I appreciate that. Intellectual. Games, unsurprising to many, I'd imagine. Ooh, horror, big fan. And then lastly, we'll go with treasure. It's interesting because they indicate like, oh, you should try to pick words that you think your favorite character will like. But honestly, at this point, there's no way we can really have that great of an idea of, what each character is going to like. So I feel like if it's maybe your first run through, you should try to just pick what you like and then see which character you get paired up with. I think that's kind of a fun way to go about it. But hi again, Tsunohara. Well, hello there. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but I at least keep my word. I appreciate that. Well, I'm back at the Literature Club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise, Tsunohara. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it. Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. Sayuri told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. And last year, too. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what. But if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. We're just your typical cookie-cutter, degenerate, anime and game-loving, otaku protagonist. What else do you have to expect from us? Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monika and manga. Manga is literature. I'd agree. It's considered like low-class literature by a lot of people, which is why it's kind of like a guilty pleasure. But I'd agree that it is literature. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. Don't worry, guys. Tsunohara always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. He helps me with busy work without me even asking. Like cooking, cleaning my room. We do all of those things. That's not a very normal thing to do with some girl you're in a platonic relationship with. How dependable. Sadie, that's because your room is so messy it's distracting. And you almost set your house on fire once. Is that so? You two are really good friends, aren't you? I might be a little jealous. Oh, ooh. How come? You and Tsunohara can become good friends too. Society. As usual, Sadie seems oblivious to the weird situation she just put me into. Yuri even brought you something today, you know? Oh, great. Is it like every day there's gonna be, you know, one of the girls brings some other gift? Wait, Sayuri. Me? Not really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing. What is it? Never mind. Oh, that blush though. Sayuri made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. What do I do? I'm sorry, Yuri, I wasn't thinking. I guess that means it's up to me to rescue this situation. How are we gonna go about rescuing this situation? I wonder how many decisions we actually make in this game, as opposed to just kind of, you know, playing through and reading the dialogue. I do appreciate a bit more decision making, so hopefully that's the case. Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place, so any nice gesture from you is a pleasant surprise. Very valid response. It'll make me happy no matter what. Is that so? Yeah, I won't make it a big deal if you don't want it to be. Alright. Well, here. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention, even if you don't usually read. And we could, you know, discuss it if you wanted. It's not like I want to discuss this book with you or anything, Baka. This is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute? She even picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. I mean, obviously, when you're into a passion and you care about someone else getting into your passion, you'll be very much motivated to try and meet their standards or their requirements in order to, you know, kind of reel them in. But Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Whew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. Are we gonna have like free time where we can actually choose to decide like, do we read this book, or do we hang out with this person, or do we do this other activity, you know? Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monika to kick off some scheduled activities for the club, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Sayuri and Monika are having a cheery conversation in the corner. Yuri's face is already buried in a book, and I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. Her manga collection, I'd imagine. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time, I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Ah. Crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me and our eyes meet for a split second. That awkward moment when. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry, I was just spacing out. I mutter this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh. It's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book that you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I want to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just want to be, you know, up to date so we can have the best discussion ever. Just curious, how come you have 2 copies of the same book? Ah. Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. Yeah, I figured it was going to come out that she ended up actually buying this copy for us. I mean... I just happened to buy 2 of them. I see. Just happened to randomly buy 2 of them. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Oh boy, what is this story going to be? Is that so? What's the title of this book called? What's it about anyway? Well, Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous looking eye symbol on the front cover. Alright, I just want to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. I'm waiting for this darker twist. I really am. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. What? And while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships and her life starts to fall apart. This is a relatable story? I'm so sorry. That's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so the dark turn came from nowhere. Fitting. Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Tsunohara? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. I hope so. I feel like this is some fourth wall shattering going on right here. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri is into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that in those kinds of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals or their own philosophy that they believe in. Then suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they're made out to be naive. The naive one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling, aren't I? Interesting. I mean, yeah, I feel like I could have the best conversations with Yuri about, like, more intellectual debates, per se. Not even debates, discussions. Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright, then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading, exactly. And the least I can do is listen. True. Something that, like, people always appreciate having the opportunity to talk about something they care about. That could be themselves or their hobbies or whatever. And it's such an important skill to learn when it's meaningful to listen to someone and what that can do for the person you're listening to. It's a literature club, after all. That's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? You don't have to. What are you saying? Just a moment ago you said you were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? And I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is reading in company with someone. Aw, I'm sorry that you don't usually have the company to enjoy your passion with someone else. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing, maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. That's interesting. I can never really do that just because people's reading speeds differ so vastly. Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I'm also pretty picky about personal space, and so I can think of very few people I would actually be comfortable with reading over my shoulder like that. I do? I don't really mean to... Sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. I can feel the romance. Feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. That teamwork though. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. Check out this art though too. It's actually pretty high quality. I'm impressed. I do the same with my right arm on the other side of the book. That way, I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. That's actually pretty impressive. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. Of course. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face, and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? To turn the page. Sorry. It's like a rip I wasn't even reading. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again, and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, you've been patient with her? I didn't feel like anything was taxing us in particular. Thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey, Yuri, this might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. I mean, she did say the story was relatable, right? You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways, but she also second guesses all the things that she says and does. Like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. I see. Yuri remains silent for a moment. But Tsunohara, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. That's so embarrassing that you think that. Oh, I'm sorry to have said that then, I guess. I mean, second guessing yourself can be a bad thing, especially if left unchecked, but it's also a very good, mechanism for, well, keeping yourself in check when necessary. Wait, I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I really didn't know you were self-conscious about that sort of thing. Maybe you should wait to comment on people's deeper, personality traits and relate them to literary figures until maybe, a couple hours into your knowing them, not just within the first 30 minutes or so. But I guess I more meant that it's kind of cute. What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone, Monika, gotta swoop in and stop this relationship from forming. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. Oh, exciting. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. So it's like the meetings are usually starting off with some sort of like free time where people do whatever they want, and then there's some sort of collective activity. Yuri exhales, spared from finishing her thought. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's not. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright, I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. In that case, I'll read a little more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters in your own time. Alright. I stand up, make a mental note of where I left off in the book, then slip it back into my bag. By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? Yeah, I mean, we wrote 20 words, randomly selected from, not randomly selected, from, I think, groups of 10 or 12 of them. I don't know if you can really call it a poem. I guess technically you can, but yeah, my relaxation ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing. I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never really done this before. Well, now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait. Sayuri and Monika enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayuri's is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monika wrote hers in a composition notebook. I can already see Monika's pristine handwriting from where I sit. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. I do the same myself. Who should I show my poem to first? So I'm between Monika and Yuri, I would say. Let's hang out with Monika a little bit, because we just spent a lot of time with Yuri. I should start with Monika. Yesterday she seemed eager to read my poem, and I wanted to know I'm putting in effort. Hi, Tsunohara. Having a good time so far? Yeah. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in and establish more credibility, as someone who can suggest activities that the literature club might like or something like that. As the newcomer, yes, you have fresh ideas and everything, but until you understand the norm of the club, it's difficult to propose change. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Tsunohara. We're all a little embarrassed today, But it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monika my poem. Great job, Sonata. I was going ooh in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way it always counts when I put in some effort. It's pretty funny. That does sound like your typical degenerate protagonist. That's not very fair, especially when, spoken to a perfectionist or an overachiever. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Unlike Sayuri, who likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness, Yuri likes it when readers are left to derive their own meaning out of it. It's very challenging to write like that effectively, both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all the nuances. It can take years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. Years of practice? Has she really been writing herself that long? I never really asked though. I'm sure I'm nowhere near her level yet. Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things. I guess it's not surprising me that the more intellectual of the group, Yuri, who seems to be lost in her thoughts and likes the dark twist, the horror, and is interested in deeply analyzing things, seems to be the character I'm matching up with a bit more. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. It could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little biased towards their own kinds of styles, but I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Of course. Not like that's not the whole reason I'm staying in the literature club. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. It doesn't mean I always feel that way, I see. That's very true. Sometimes just whatever role you have demands a certain aura, a certain demeanor, and you kind of need to, what is it again? Oh, I forget. All Might has a great quote about smiling and, scaring the fear away, or instilling fear in the enemies, and pushing away the fear in your own heart, or something like that. I butchered that, but that's the general message, I'd imagine. Well, let's read it then. Hole in wall. It couldn't have been me. See the direction the sparkle... Okay, it couldn't have been me. See the direction the spackle protrudes. A noisy neighbor? An angry boyfriend? I'll never know. I wasn't home. I peer inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I reel, blind like a film left out in the sun. But it's too late. My retina is already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep. Stretching forever into everything. A hole of infinite choices. I realized, wow, that I wasn't looking in. I was looking out. And he, on the other side, was looking in. Whoa, that's interesting. It's almost as if she's trapped in this area and she's finally realizing that there's something outside of her standard limits. And that overwhelming notion is pretty crazy. Maybe this is to reveal a little bit that she feels trapped within her roles, her expectations, etc. And she's trying to branch out a little bit, maybe as evidenced by starting the literature club. So, what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that, because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Ain't that the truth? Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. That is some pretty good life advice, admittedly, especially for someone like me who's a bit of a perfectionist. It's really difficult to sometimes make progress on anything, or to do the things you want because you're afraid you won't do them as well as you'd like to. I actually made a zero thought video on it. Thanks for listening. Who should I show my poem to next? I think next up, it's pretty clear that Yuri would like our symbolism, our poem, and I'm intrigued to see what she has in her poem, because I do think I'm going to be I do think I'm already most curious about her character and her circumstances, but as you might anticipate, we're going to be showing Yuri our poem and hearing her thoughts in the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was pretty cool. I like the interactivity of, choosing who we show our poems to in that order. It seems Monika gives feedback and such, and we're learning a little bit, about each of their characters, right? Monika seems to be, at least, well, you just heard my whole little analysis, and we're learning a bit more about Yuri through this particular book. So we're starting to do more activities, starting to break out of the typical VN shell, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes in the future. But until the next episode, this has been Night Zero, and this mission is complete.